Welcome, everyone. I know it's been a long time, but we're back one more again. Theology in the streets. Welcome to the show. This is a different type of show, as you can see. We're gonna be doing this through a Zoom lens, so you're gonna see all you YouTubers that see the visuals. You're gonna see a different type of program. But bear with us, and we'll tell you why later in the show. But welcome. I'm your host, Don Dada, along with Dave in the Cut Jones, my brethren, Jamma Juggernaut, and also we have Classic. Me, Pastor Lou in the Cut couldn't be with us today because he's still dealing with the whole COVID situation. As we speak, I'm on quarantine right now, so we'll get more into that as the show goes further. You guys can check us out on our Twitter, that's Tats_podcast, or on our Instagram, Tats_podcast also, or on YouTube, you just type up Theology in the Streets podcast and we'll show up. Okay, please subscribe, like us, share us. Because look, we're going on. Look at the situation we're in right now. We're still doing things. We're still organizing it. We're all behind the skills. I know that you guys thought we was out and about, but you can never count us out. You know what I'm saying? And I got my boys with me, and thank God for Dave in the Cut Jones with his perseverance. We've been able to work this out and provide you the quality shows that you need. Right, brothers?
No doubt.
Right. So the reason why we're doing this show via Zoom meeting, if you will, is because of the COVID situation here in New York State. As you know, probably from the television or from any news source that you watch or hear, New York State is one of the states that the increase is rising again, and the pandemic is doing another turn, and everyone's aware of that. We're not the only state. There's other states out there also, California, also Florida, but we live in New York State, so we got to deal with it. And we're upstate New York, okay, Tats Nation. So as we speak, we are in the orange zone, okay? Now, depending on where you live at up here in Rock City, you might not be in the orange zone. But I know definitely me, because I'm still in the hood, as opposed to my rich brothers, you know what I'm saying? I'm still in the hood, I'm in the orange zone. Okay, I'll be honest with you, I don't think Dave in the Cut and Jamma, I don't think you guys are in the orange zone. I think yours yellow, but like right there at that peak.
Well, there's half of Greece is orange because people out here, they don't know how to act. You know what I'm saying? They think they're above having to follow the rules. So once you hit like Vintage Lane, from Vintage Lane over the ladder is like yellow. You know what I'm saying? But once you hit Vintage on over like where the mall is and going further west, mess, man. It's a mess.
Yeah, because I know you're right, because you know how Shalat is right on the border. And I know my business is still yellow because we're right there on the border of Greece and the city. Right. I know that me and Kurt are in orange. Aranda is in the orange and the city is in the orange.
Right.
So, and what they say, so just to give a debrief of what that means, if you're in the orange, what they're saying is like, they're closing high risk, non-essential businesses, gyms, personal care, that'd be like barbershops, schools, for deep cleaning, and like restaurants, there's probably only takeout if they are open and things of that nature. So you could say like almost, I would say a third to a half of the city's kind of like in that type of dealing with that situation, right, guys?
Yeah.
So first, I want to bring up, how did we get here? Well, I mean, that's where we at right now. We know there's other places that are like this right now. Like I had mentioned, California. I know California is doing like I believe like a 13-day shutdown or something like that.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken. So, you know, how did we get here, guys? What do you think?
China. China. That's what got here. China.
You still talk about my Asian folk. All right, I see how you do.
China.
China got us here.
That's my take right
now. The second wave. I'm talking about the second wave. Now we already discussed that on one of our other shows. Our assumptions. I'm talking about the second wave. How we get this spike back up. Now we know they were predicting that. We know that.
Indeed.
And well, what do you guys think? Because to me, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It was inevitable to me. I don't see how it was not. I can see, if they started open things back up, that's what I mean. It was inevitable. If they open things back up, that's what I mean.
Right.
What you guys think?
Go ahead, General.
Oh, okay. Well, it's happening in other countries, right? Canada is suffering. Europe is in shambles. I think the media is saying that America is the worst. I think. I don't know if that's true, but according to statistics, they say we are. I think it's because maybe we have one of the highest populations, but also we opened up. The economy opened back up. Everybody went back to work, and it's an inevitable thing. We're all going to catch it. Everybody's going to catch it, and Biden is saying he might shut the country down for like a month once he gets to office, and that's gonna simmer everything back down. But what would have been the right thing to do to prevent this wave?
Yeah, Kurt, you want to chime in real quick?
I want to say this. I know here. I want to say this statistic. This fact. Right now, Monroe County, we had 17,911 cases and 307 deaths.
So what was our highest day was like 645 cases.
Yeah, that day of getting it. Yeah.
So in the first wave, I think our worst day in the first wave, just to kind of give us to some perspective, our worst day in the first wave was like 266. So we're like more than double that now. You want to chime in real quick, and then I'll give my perspective of what I think.
You heard Kurt?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same agreement with you, Noom. I don't think it was something that we could have avoided. It was kind of inevitable to happen once you start going back to normal life. That's they are, like you said, they already predicted that this was going to happen. So to me, it's like it's nothing new. This is what they said was going to happen. So I'm not surprised.
Now, they did. We did do. To be fair, Cuomo shut down. We were shut down for how long? You guys think? How long was that he did the shutdown?
To be honest with you, I think it was only less than a month, man. I don't think it was that long.
Okay.
Because, like, for an official shutdown, because what happened is they started, businesses started filing for the essential status.
Okay.
So, you had like car washes. I mean, just to kind of put it in perspective, obviously grocery stores and gas stations were essential from the jump. Communications, I work in communications, that type of stuff, that stuff was essential, you know what I'm saying? But then you had like car washes saying, oh, we're essential because, COVID could be on the surface of your cars and, we need to be able to clean your car. So it kind of got laughable, the number of businesses that were being deemed essential. But that we didn't know anything about it. It did say COVID could live on surfaces. So that's probably half of the reason why,
And to be fair, they still don't know. That's still up in the air. Like some people say yes, some people say no. So we still don't have the factual, concrete evidence of what's true and what's false.
Right.
I know. As far as the barbershops and the beauty salons, we was closed down for 3 months.
Yeah. Now, I do know that Cuomo caught a lot of hate. He caught a lot of hate because, basically, man, he wrote the blueprint and other people followed it. Other states and governors can say what they want. But Cuomo took a lot of heat for shutting us down and doing it. He felt necessary. He had to do it. Because when you look at the New York City area, man, the boroughs, and you have like tens of millions of people stacked on top of each other, man. and that thing, man, shutting down the transit and the subway system, that was huge, man. So he did what he felt was necessary. He
I
kind of,
think that was necessary. Though. I would agree, especially in New York City.
no doubt.
Especially in New York City.
So he made the blueprint, and other people followed it, and there was some hate or whatever because, it's like people are like, we were in what was called a phase one. Phase one was like the shutdown. People wanted us to go to phase 4 and get everything open back up. So I was hating on Cuomo saying, get us back to phase 4, man, I think I'm just, just my opinion. I think we got here, man, by there's some arrogance, you know what I'm saying, and but a lot of it was, I think people got cabin fever, man. If you really think about it, I've been working from home since March 18th, man. We're getting ready to go into the end of December into January, man. That's almost a year we've been working from home. People have been displaced and not, just living in this other realm, man. This is like, it's not normal, man. It's not normal. So I don't expect people to be good with it and be comfortable with it.
Yeah.
So I think the second wave was, stuff started to open up. Summer was ending. People were like, man, we need to squeeze in some kind of partying and enjoying the last bit of the summer or whatnot. You know what I'm saying? So I think people just got a little too comfortable, man. And they just, it started with Halloween, with the Halloween parties and football season. I noticed a lot of cars at houses, people out in the front lawns drinking and stuff, having this Sunday afternoon football parties and stuff. So I think that's where, football season and Halloween parties, I think that's really what the jump off was and where it really started to climb with the second wave.
Yeah, and I agree because you're right. People were tired of the segregation, of the isolation, if you will. People would they just wanted to they couldn't take it no more. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now,
right.
do you think to be controversial, but it is a question. Protesting could have been part of it too. I mean, it was a lot of gathering with a lot of people. You got hundreds of people gathering. We don't know who's infected or not. All around, they're doing this for hours together. Attached Nation. If y'all see on Instagram, you seen me at some of the protests there. More than 1,000 people. They was out there for a long time. Some had masks, some didn't. You think that had anything to do also with the spike?
Absolutely, man. When you get tens of thousands of people stacked on top of each other, some wearing masks, some not, even if they are outside, all the chanting and yelling and all of that stuff, absolutely, man. And even the post-election, man, where people, not even the protests, but the celebrations.
Yeah.
You had mad people, they were showing them all over the place. All of the major cities, they were showing people celebrating after the election, the week after, all of that Saturday, actually, that where they called it for Biden, people were all over the place. And I to me, those were super spreader events. They weren't really categorized that way, but they were.
Yeah.
Now,
say if we would have stood shut down, say, I know me, I can speak for my, because, I have my own, I have a small business. I didn't fully recuperate or, from the first shutdown. Okay. My numbers weren't where they was prior to the shutdown. You know what I mean? Now, a couple of things, you got to take in consideration. Schools are shut down. So people ain't bringing kids to the barbershop to get haircuts because there's no school. Right. Clubs, bars, restaurants are shut down. So they're not going nowhere. So they're just home. Why get a haircut? Or they're just, buzzing themselves because there's really nowhere to go anyways. Right. Then on top of that, you got that some of them left. The 3 months I was shut down, they probably found other, ways, other people closer to them, or maybe figured out that they could just buzz themselves. So with all that accumulation of things, my numbers were down. So now going to the second wave, And we're borderline again. Shalat's borderline too, to flipping that switch to being orange, and they're threatening to shut us down again, non-essential. Second wave, don't know if I'll be able to come back from another shutdown. You know what I mean? I don't think my business can survive that. So I'm thinking of alternative things, maybe having a couple clients working from home or things of that nature. Just because to pay overhead, a storefront, and stuff like that, it's probably not gonna suffice. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be able to provide. So I'm just one business speaking. Imagine all the other businesses that, and you can see it, man. If you go right now and look at storefronts for rent, buildings for rent, bro, there's millions of buildings for rent.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
It's crazy. Trust me, because we're in the process of looking for, with my other business, we're looking for property for sale. Bro, there's tons of, and they're being real, innovative with it. Like they're renting out lows, they got big buildings renting out $100 a month, little office spaces just to try to accumulate some type of money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if for a longer shutdown, what would happen to the economy? That's my question to you guys.
Yeah. Jammer, what you got?
Well, I got it's great stuff, man. Obviously the first shutdown didn't work, right? Because a whole bunch of people still died, and then we're getting the second wave. Price of our economy, at the price of millions of small businesses, record unemployment. So why do a complete shutdown again? You know what I'm saying? Because that's the plan. They're gonna do a complete shutdown again. It's gonna be more businesses going under, more people unemployed, and then the government is gonna try and bail those people out by increasing the national debt and giving out free paychecks and unemployment for God knows how long. So I think she could do what Switzerland did. It costs lives, but that sounds cold. But everything costs something. A lot of people die. Old people and people with underlying conditions should really, really, really just stay home, bro. Stay home, and people healthy like us should stay responsible and wear masks. Although everywhere I go, I see people wearing masks. That's why I'm like, how are people getting COVID? Everywhere I go, I see people wearing masks. You can't go into a business without wearing a mask. You can't do anything without wearing a mask. I can't go to work without wearing a mask. It's like, so how are people catching it? Maybe like y'all said, people on football Sunday, families coming over, people needed a break. They're going out to bars and dinners and but how long?
I can speak to that. I can speak to that because I have 5 adult kids, man. Okay, 5 adult kids, and at any moment, any of them, they just pop up at the house. You know what I'm saying? They all got keys to the house. They pop up. And not to put any of them on blast, man, but it's like, my oldest daughter, man, she has her own place. She's like, my oldest daughter actually works in a lab that does COVID testing. They do the testing, the results and stuff. We've had so many COVID scares in my house where me and my wife have had to quarantine, where we couldn't see our kids. We couldn't see her mom, who lives right like a quarter mile away from us, man, right down the road. We've had so many scares, man, that had nothing to do with what me and my wife do. Me and my wife don't do anything. We don't go anywhere, bro. You know what I'm saying? We work from home. We go to the grocery store, and that's it. But we get the phone calls, Mom, you guys might need to quarantine because my coworker tested positive from her mother. You know what I'm saying? My oldest daughter, she was out of work. She had a scare. She had to get tested because of that. My second oldest daughter, she's had multiple scares because of people at work or people in her personal life. My son has had at least 3 scares, very close calls. And so, Dave, to your point, how are people still getting it, bro? It's like, you can do everything. I'm a living example, man. You can do everything right, and all it has to do is just walk into your living room, man. Yeah. My kids have brought multiple COVID scares to our house. And, at first it upsets you, but you got to think, it's the mindset, man. They're young and they don't think that they can be affected by it. It's like, well, it's just a virus. It's like, I want to go see my friends. I want to go to my friend's wedding. Or it's like, why is your friend even still having a wedding? You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's irresponsible. So other people acting irresponsibly is what brings it into your vicinity. It puts it on your radar,
And you think that's the cause of the second wave?
I do, man, because I feel like there's a lot of people that are being responsible. There's people that haven't really believed in masking, that have started masking because somebody close to them has been affected. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, it's always been personal for me, man, because I'm an only child, man, and I'm all that my mother has. So if my mother needs me, but I can't go do something for her, because I'm at risk, or I'm doing stuff that puts her at risk. That's no good. My mother-in-law, she's a widow, you know what I'm saying? And it's like she relies on me and my wife. So it's like I can't put myself in a position where I'm not able to, me or my wife aren't able to help her. You feel what I'm saying? So but all of you guys know I lost my stepbrother to COVID over a month ago. He was 50 years old, man. No, healthy as far as everybody knew, no comorbidities. And he ended up on a ventilator, man, and was gone 3 days after they put him on a vent. He was only 3 days older than me, man. We were both 50 years old. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's very personal, man, because my thing is that if I'm around somebody that's not comfortable or is afraid that they're going to catch it, I feel like the least that I could do for them is to mask up and make them feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even people that come to my house, people that come to read the meter or do whatever, you know what I'm saying? Deliver packages. I try to make the delivery people feel comfortable too when I go out to get a package and put a mask on. Even though it's outside, I do it because I want people to feel like I care about their safety. You know what I'm saying? So
you've been a great role model in that area. I could say that even with us as the Tats crew, being very responsible and even vocalizing that. Now that Tats Nation, my mom is positive with the COVID, and she don't know where she got it. She's always home, but
Mhm.
she does have a lot of people come to her crib, meaning like kids come to her.
Right.
So I don't know which kid could have got it, you know what I mean? But she's always home. She really doesn't go nowhere. But like you said, I can see how serious this is because my mom is a strong woman. Like my mom is an OG strong. Like don't play
Yes,
around.
indeed.
She don't really show she shook or anything like that. But I can see my mom a little nervous on this one,
Mhm.
just because the symptoms are strong. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
she went through some chest pains. She was she still, the fever's still coming back. Goals come back. So she got her face up, but I can see that she's this is a little troubling. But let's talk about the disparities that at least I've witnessed. I'm gonna share this with you guys. So since my mom was just like D, just like Dave and the Cut Jones said, I got a brother and sister, but I'm the one always helping my mom. So I take her everywhere, I do everything, right? So I had a quarantine just because I was with my mom. You know what I mean? So I'm in quarantine now, right? I took the test. Well, she was having chest pains. We thought my mom has heart issues, so I took her to emergency for that. Nothing. We didn't even think about no COVID. We was just like, maybe my mom's dealing with her heart issues. You know what I mean? That's when they said she was COVID positive. The disparities that I want to talk about is that they just you positive COVID. That's it. And she did the 24-hour test. Now, it was a nurse there that said, wow, other than you having a little bit of chest pains, you really don't, she didn't have the fever at the time. She had nothing. It's like, wow, you really don't show any, but even though we know that can be the case, but they was like, wow, you don't show other symptoms. But when they sent her home, They gave no
No medication.
No
no,
direction.
no medication and no advice on what to do. All the advice that my mom has gotten is from me doing research and talking to people that once had it and what they did. You know what I mean? But the doctors don't. And listen, I have a brother-in-law that he had caught it. Okay, but I don't see him that much. But when I found out that he caught it, reached out to him, called him just to see if he was all right. He said the same thing. They sent him home. They didn't tell him nothing. Nothing. Thank God we knew of another peer person that used to have it, and they was like, well, if you have the chest congestions, you should get Mucinex. Mucinex for that really helped. Listen, that was like a miracle. When I gave my mom the Mucinex, my mom was like, the next day, my mom was walking around the house like live, like, wow, this is a miracle drug. She's like, why ain't no hot tea? COVID does not like hot tea. You know what I mean? Real hot tea. But the doctors aren't saying these things. They ain't saying nothing. They're not saying anything. You know what I mean? So these are just, thank God, from other people that we've got this. And now my mom is doing pretty, she's pretty good. You talk to her, you won't even kind of know that she got COVID. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? She's doing pretty well. But because of these remedies that we had to find from word of mouth from other people, what's going on? Why do you think they're not telling people anything? Why they not? Doctors ain't saying it.
You know what's crazy though, man? My wife was just telling me too that a lot of people that are having symptoms, they get tested and they are negative, right? And some people have other issues that they go to the hospital for, chest pains, whatever, and they go in there and they're catching it at the hospital. So I don't know if you guys knew this, but Mayor Lovely Warren, her mother just passed away the day before Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
her mother was in the hospital for a heart procedure. Her mother caught COVID in the hospital.
Yeah,
her mother passed away from it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's crazy because you can't get sick for anything, bro. You can't fall and knock your head or anything, have to go to emergency. You might walk out of there with COVID, man, or you might not walk out of there.
You're better off at home.
You are. You really are.
You are. Yeah. So, and and the thing is that, and so I know two cases, and I had mentioned this to you guys briefly. My sister had all the symptoms, COVID symptoms, fever, coughing, sneezing, headache, all this. She goes to the doctors. They say, you got COVID. You got to stay out of work for 12 days. My sister's a manager where she's at. She's an HR manager. So, they be needing HR. My sister's like, I am not going to be out of work for 12 days. You know how much work I'm going to have stacked up by the time I come back? I can't be out of work for 12 days. And they's like, well, it's a pandemic. You got to. She was like, hold up, but test me. Bro. You talking about I got COVID. You labeled me COVID. You didn't even test me. She's like, test me. And then they test her and she comes back negative. Okay. And so they was labeling her COVID without, and then now, same thing with Buddha. They did the same thing to Buddha. There was like, he had all those symptoms. So he went and boom, they said, oh, you got COVID. So Buddha was like, oh, well, you're not even going to test me. You're just going to say I COVID. It's pretty much, there's COVID. Now, Buddha didn't contest it because opposite, he wanted to milk that and, not go to work. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't even argue with it. He's like, just write it down. And he didn't even ask for the test. And he just
give me the slip, man.
And then they wrote a slip COVID. He got the COVID pay. But, you see what I'm saying? Like they say COVID, they didn't even test me. What you guys think about it?
I've actually experienced a lot of that myself with some people that I know, and I've heard other people share the same thing that that they went to get tested, never got tested, and then got a paper in the mail saying that they were positive. So you have a lot of that, but also too, man. For me, again, this is not a surprise to me. We are in flu season, and it just seems that the flu has been eradicated. It seems like the common cold has been eradicated. We've cured the common cold. We've cured the flu. We've cured every illness on this planet except for COVID, because it seems like if you stub your toe and you go to the doctors, you got COVID. So I'm not saying that COVID ain't real, man, because, again, you guys know I got family that passed away at the early part of the pandemic. My dad, they said my dad had it. and whatnot, and he was in bad shape, bro. I can tell you that when I went to see him, he looked like he had, both feet on the other side, you know what I'm saying, to keep it real. But at the same time, man, I want to talk about something a little bit deeper before I get out of here, because I got to get back to doing what I'm doing. But I just want to throw a spiritual thing out there, man. The thing that I want to just make sure that we, as believers, we got to be careful that the spirit of Antichrist is already at work in this world. And we got to be careful with just going along with the narrative. It is okay to question. It's okay to even kind of be skeptical about things. We got to use wisdom, though. That's the one thing I think a lot of people are asking, is that you got to utilize wisdom. But as believers, we got to be skeptical. We have to be careful, because when you just accept the narrative and you just accept, hey, we want you to do this, it's establishing a mindset. And that mindset is going to make it easier for when the time comes, for the mark of the beast and so on and so forth. These kind of things are going to be easy. It's going to be so easy. Why? Because the mindset of people is, oh, we trust the government, we trust the science, we trust this. So what's to say, now, well, if you don't take this or if you don't do that, here's this mark. Now now you can't buy nothing. You can't go nowhere. You can't do anything. So as believers, we got to be careful with this. You know what I'm saying?
I think as Americans, period, we got to be careful with that too, bro, because this is the type of situation that sets up for dictatorships to take over. Okay. That's what I'm saying. You feel what I'm saying?
We have a responsibility to be just, like I said, I'm not saying not to use caution. We got to be careful. We use wisdom. Don't be stupid. But as believers, we need to be careful that we're not just going along with the narrative without, we got to think, man. We got to be critical thinkers and realize that we do have an adversary, and that this battle that we're fighting is not carnal. So sometimes we get distracted with the carnal stuff and don't realize that there's something spiritual at play behind the scenes. Because I think anybody that really digs deep into this, you can say, man, something don't seem right about the way it's being described to the public. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that COVID ain't real, but the way it's the narrative that they're putting out and the way things are being done, man, I see something more at work, man. Because again, we talk about the simple remedies that people know of and that's helped people to get better. But now they want to come out with this vaccine. This is the fastest they've ever approved any vaccine. And they're approving a vaccine that was once the procedure in which they're creating this vaccine was banned. Okay, it's been banned. Now all of a sudden it's being fast tracked. Okay, with the RNA that's been banned, and it was banned in other countries. Now all of a sudden, because of COVID, now we're willing to use it. And notice this is going to be the fastest vaccine to ever hit the population.
Yeah, how you guys? Yeah, before you leave, Kurt, I was ask a couple questions. Just stay on with us briefly. How you feel about the vaccine? They said it's going to come out. They said that the UK is already doing it out there in the UK. I believe they're already doing it. Then they say that when we do get it, they're going to give it to the nursing homes first, the elderly first, and then probably by February, we'll be able to receive it. What do you guys think about that? The vaccine?
I'm not taking it. I'm good. I'm just boosting my immune system, staying healthy, doing the same thing with my family. That's too fast. I'm gonna see all the guinea pigs take it and see how it reacts with them. And Kurt, I'm on the same page with Kurt, man. I mean, that's like perfectly said, man. Perfect. I know it sounds conspiracy theorist type, but it's just so right on the bottom because they're using this coronavirus and they're politicizing it and they're using it to implement governmental policies, which is putting too much control over our lives. But at the same time, you got to be responsible in the whole line, but take it with a grain of salt and keep your eyes open because it's some shady stuff going on, especially that vaccine. Yeah. That's scary. It's scary stuff. But I'm not.
So as far as the vaccine for me, and I've told my wife this several times, I plan on taking the vaccine, but I'm not taking the vaccine until it's been fully vetted. I'm not talking about just the CDC coming out saying, oh, it's safe. Oh, look at 3 past presidents are taking it. I don't care about them taking it. Word. I think it's like if they're not being transparent with the trials, proven trials, if they're not transparent with the side effects, the FDA isn't signing off on it, because the FDA has been fairly, good about denying use to things that don't fit their criteria, and I don't think this one is any different. There's a lot of money is potentially on the table to be made from this thing. So I know that there's a lot of racing to see who could put this thing out first. But for me, springtime or beginning of summer, I'm chilling, man. I'm gonna wait until around there, because I really want to see what's gonna happen with it. But I do plan on taking it. But I need proof, man. I'm not gonna be one of these front of the line people. I just can't do it. You know what I'm saying?
Now, what if they go? My question to you guys are: what if? Because like now, my daughter, she attends school, and they had an outbreak at the high school, not at her middle school, but at that district, their high school. So they made everybody take tests again, right? And then once you got negative, you was able to go back to school, right? What if they start to implement that? Okay, in order to go to school, you have to take the vaccine. In order for this, you have to take the vaccine. Because it doesn't seem like that's not far away, that they can say, hey, the vaccine's out. You ain't take the vaccine. Your kid can't, come to school. You can't, it seemed that it could segue to that real quickly, right, Kurt?
They're going even further. They might be like, we'll give you a $1,500 check if you take the vaccine. Like if you want part of the stimulus, you're going to have to take the vaccine. I read that somewhere.
All that incorporated.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that could be the biggest mistake that they ever make, though. Because I'm gonna tell you, man, if you want to see somebody fight the power, I think a lot of people will sit back and be like, "Is my livelihood worth $1,500? Is my livelihood or my freedom worth $1,500?" No, because I'm gonna tell you, man.
Right.
Go ahead, Kurt.
No, go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish, and then I'll say what I gotta say.
Okay, I know how I reacted when I lost my father. My father was a Vietnam vet, and I lost my father at 43 years old. And after he passed away, the government sent my mother a check for $1,800, man. I sent that check back to him, man. I'm like, my father gave his life for this country. You know what I'm saying? As a U.S. Marine, man, he gave his life to this country, and this is the value of my father's life to you. You keep your money. It pissed me off. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of people, man, will look at what they've gone through this last year. $1,500. First of all, you're gonna try to blackmail me into taking a vaccine, and then you're gonna tell me it's me getting $1,500 is contingent on me selling possibly my life and my dignity to you for $1,500. I think there would be a huge uprising, man, because the people, Americans we're not who we were last March, man. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if you're watching all of the stuff that's going on now, too many people have woken up, man. There's been an awakening in the U.S., and I think people are starting to realize their value. I think Americans are starting to realize their value, man. And
what if they hit you where it hurts? Because that's to me, the money, they'll get the fools. If they're trying to persuade you, but now your daughter or your son can't play sports on the school team. Yeah, can't go to school. That kind of hits you kind of harder, because now you got to try to explain to them when they're say a great basketball player, a great tennis player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but you need the vaccine. And what you guys think about that? Like, where would you stand on that? Then your daughter just ain't gonna play, or your daughter just ain't gonna go to school, homeschooling?
We would be on the side of the no vaxxers, right? Like you have people right now in the U.S. that are no vaxxers. They don't get the measles vaccine or anything because they think it causes what's that thing?
Autism.
Down syndrome.
Autism and Down syndrome.
So if they make it like that, they're giving us no choice, right? They're gonna make it mandatory, like with measles and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Use that they can spread the infection. So they're gonna use, I'm just saying this conspiracy theory, but they can use that, and it would be valid, saying, well, if they they don't get the vaccine, they're liable to spread the infection. So we in order to come back to school, gotta get the vaccine.
Do you have a choice? You don't have a choice.
Then we're gonna have to be home. My wife will have to learn how to homeschool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if,
I think
they try that, man. I can't see them being dumb enough to try that, because that, I'm gonna tell you, man, that just, if you really want to uprising of the people, man, try telling Americans what they have to do. Right now, they're trying to get people to put a thin piece of paper across their face with elastic behind their ears, and people are wigging out.
Yeah,
right.
So try telling them that their kids can't go to school or they can't go somewhere because, or hey, you got your COVID ID card. You can't get on this plane until you show us your card, man. Please,
right?
They'll tear this place down, man.
What you gonna say, Kurt?
No, I was just going to say that, it goes back to, my original point was that, again, this is a mindset that's growing.
Yeah.
So, we have to realize that our adversary, man, he's patient. See, he know maybe not today. Y'all might kick against it today, but he's building up a generation that, let's say now, maybe our generation, we gonna buck. But can we honestly say that for our kids and our grandkids? Because they're growing up in a generation where this is becoming more and more acceptable. The narrative is that if you don't wear the mask, you don't care about your fellow person. You're being irresponsible, so on and so forth, right? And there may be some truth to that, right? We're not going to just dismiss wisdom. There may be some truth to that, but the danger behind that mindset is that allowing government to dictate the narrative for how I'm supposed to live life. When if you go all throughout history, there's been viruses all throughout history, right? And there was never any time in our history where there was a vaccine that was mandated upon the population. Like, if you don't take this vaccine, it was just, hey man, this is life happening. And as sad as it is, there are going to be some people who are going to be fatally affected by it, and other people will survive. But out of that survival, will grow a stronger generation that will have an immunity to this virus and will continue to keep moving along. So I think part of our problem that we have is something that scripture talks about, that if a man seeks to preserve his life, he's going to lose it. And I think part of the problem that we have in this country especially is that we've talked about this many times. I've said this. Many people are drunk off of the wine of America. They don't want to see that wine dry up. So when you start to put in policies and things like this that scares you to the point where I'm going to take away that wine, a lot of people going to start folding. Now, our generation may buck, but can we honestly say that with confidence that our kids and our grandkids, their generation, how will that look for them? Because we can see it. Every generation gets a little bit relaxed.
Yeah. We have to teach them not to buck.
Well, we're gonna try. Listen, and you know what we said on the last show with the COVID show that we did, the extended thought. It was a purge to me. They've been had the vaccine. I told you about the doctor that was talking about the anti-malaria drug that was, if you give it as a precaution, you've seen that the percentage that it would help you. You know what I mean? I believe it was a purge, kill down the population. I believe all governments are cahoots with it. That's just my thing. How do you guys think this, to keep on the subject, but how do you think the church has responded to this pandemic? Have we done a good thing? Have we done a disservice? What do you guys input on that?
If I could speak real quick before I go, I would say that I'm not really sure if the church has done an adequate enough job. I would say that. Even just speaking to the issue and making people feel comfortable about the issue, you know what I'm saying, within the confines of the church itself. And again, I understand it's different for every church is not the same. Every church leader, every church leadership is not the same, right? So there's going to be a difference in, and maybe even how you might mitigate this situation based upon whatever local body you belong to. But as a whole, I don't think we've done an adequate job with addressing the issue, because again, I think a lot of it has been addressed politically, but we haven't really done the spiritual aspect of it, right? We haven't addressed the spiritual aspect behind it and the aspect of, okay, let's utilize wisdom. You know, like I said before, we're going to utilize wisdom, but let's address this thing spiritually as well, because a lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are unsettled. They don't really know what to believe, because whether you want to go with, you know, the science or not, well, the science ain't even, they don't even agree. You got doctors saying one thing, and then another doctor comes and say, no, you know, it's not that. You don't have to wear a mask. Or no, you got this doctor saying, Dr. Fauci first said, no, you don't have to wear a mask. Then all of a sudden now it's like life or death if you don't wear a mask. So people really don't know what to believe. But the man of God or the woman of God, whoever's proclaiming the word of God, needs to continue to provide the answer of Christ and having faith in Christ and utilizing wisdom where you can. And that's it, bro. Like we all gonna go one day. Now, if we can avoid going from COVID or any other thing, then we're gonna do our best to do so. But we cannot live in fear and think that life is gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen that way. Now, what can we do to help everybody feel more comfortable within reason so that we can continue to have fellowship? I think that the church needs to do a better job with having more conversations with its congregation, with its local body, and finding out ways that what can leadership do to help make people feel a little bit more comfortable, and then maybe explaining why certain policies may not have been put in place.
Right.
Just give people an understanding of what's going on, not just, you know, because I think there's some churches that they don't even do anything.
Right.
And so they left the people hanging, bro. So now it's like, so where are they supposed to be ministered at? You know what I'm saying? So we can't do that. We can't just shut down and then now you're not offering your people nothing. That's not leadership, bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me,
And I know you got to go, but thank you, Kurt, for your.
Thanks,
No, man. I love you guys, man.
love you too, bro.
Love you guys, bro. Be safe,
All right,
man.
be easy,
All
man.
right.
All right.
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
think divided, right, on this issue, because you got to pick which church you talking about. You got two churches in America right now, pretty much. And I brought this up in the last text that I threw out. You have a liberal church. A liberal progressive church is embracing everything the government's throwing at us. Everything. They're like, yo, respect the mask, respect the social distancing. Let's do what the government is saying. Let's respect the science that's coming out, that's saying this and this and that. We believe all of that. And if you're a good Christian, you're gonna do all these things, right? And there's no message being sermoned in their church about what Kurt just brought up, right? About the Antichrist setting up the program, setting our minds up for so they can make it easier for the Antichrist to run game on us, right? Beautifully put by Kurt, right? And then you got the other church where they ain't trusting the government for nothing, right? That's the conservative church. I would say that's our church, right? Our church is like, yo, look, wear a mask, social distance, wash your hands, be responsible, but you see what's going on, right? You see what's going on. You see Revelation coming true, right? Curtis is a pastor in our church. He preaching that same thing. Pastor G preaching that same thing. So we got two churches in America, completely separate, with two completely different theologies, and they're preaching two different things, right?
But
So
I believe that there's a third church. I believe that there's a third church actually that's preaching both of those messages, because I attend a church that does that. You know, I have a pastor now that as soon as Rochester started going into the orange, he didn't wait for the Supreme Court to rule on anything. He stopped in-person services, put out a message. He was blunt, he was real. He said, we've had some positive tests in our church. Our worship team, we've had some positive cases. People have been exposed. We're shutting it down. We've done everything that we could to try to make the service, comfortable for people who feel like they don't want to be exposed. And we try to make it comfortable for people that feel like, masking may, be a bit much for them. And I witnessed that because I was going to church in person and I saw how it was. I think at the end of the day, I'm a leader at my job. I manage 10 people. Every day that I sign on and I see my 10 people there, I'm accessible. If something goes wrong, they look to me to lead. They don't have an answer. They come to me and they say, Dave, what do we do? What do I do in this situation? And if I don't have an answer, I defer to my boss. They're just looking for somebody to lead, and they want to feel comfortable knowing that somebody is there listening and that can point them in the right direction. So for me, this might sound a bit harsh, man, and I've had this discussion with my wife several times, because my wife is a PK, she's a preacher's kid for those that don't know the terminology, but I'm very vocal about who shepherds me. I don't follow somebody just because they wear the collar, man. That's just not who I am. I've never been like, well, I want to make this decision at my job. Let me go ask my pastor what he thinks. Let me get permission from the pastor has never been a rock star to me. That's just not who I am. My wife is always like, be careful with that. And I get what she's saying. I'm not putting the collar down, man. That's not what I'm doing. But if you are shepherding me, I'm not just going to be a sheep, because what sheep do, if one sheep runs off a cliff, the other ones will follow. And I'm not a sheep. That's not who I am or who I will ever be. So I'm very, very serious about who I allow to shepherd me. So if I feel like somebody is leading me down a path where they're not concerned about my health or my safety, then I have to dead it, man. I can't follow that person, because I feel like my livelihood is not important to them. You see what I'm saying? So I made the decision to switch churches and go somewhere else, not because I don't have love the person that was shepherding me, man. It's just that I need to know that I matter. And I think that's what a lot of people want to hear from their leadership. They don't want to hear who is the dude, Kenneth Copeland, man, standing in a pulpit laughing at ha ha ha. Oh, this thing is a joke, man. People have children, people have grandchildren that they want to live to see get older. My dad was 43 when I lost him, man. I don't want to check out. I want my grandkids to put me in the ground when I'm way older. I don't want to go out for something that I potentially could have prevented or played a role in slowing down. So for me, this thing is serious for me, man, because I feel personally that the church, not as a whole, man, but there's certain leaders that are failing their people, and it's from a communication standpoint. It's not because of their heart, because I'm gonna tell you, man, there's so many pastors out there. They have great hearts, but they're failing in the leadership department. And so the biggest part of leading somebody is being able to be led. And if I have a leader, if I have somebody that I said, okay, I'm going to let that person lead me, but they don't allow me to lead them, then I can't do nothing with them, man. In order to lead, man, you have to be able to be led and learn. And so if I feel like somebody's, is a leader in my life, but I can't teach them something, then that relationship is like, there's nothing good that's going to come out of that. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I just go ahead.
Okay, so we know and I agree with you, Dave, and I agree with you, Dave, both Daves. I believe there is three. There is the one that are taking the when they feel they need to take the precautions, they're taking the precautions, doing what they have to do. When they need to take the stand and and they say, hey, we need to congregate, they're taking that stand also. You know what I mean? I believe there's the conservative, like you said, Gemma, that are saying, man, we got to watch out. They're just trying to control us, bro. They're just trying to stop the church from moving. You know what I mean? Not even the gates of hell could stop the church. Then you got the other side, liberal, that just basically doing whatever say the government is saying to do. They don't even fight it. You know what I mean? So I believe there's three positions. But with that being said, you see the confusion and what Kurt has alluded to, that even the body is confused. You know what I mean? It's separation even within the body, when we're the salt of the earth. And if we can't bring light to the world. You know what I mean? Where are they gonna look to if we're, disagreeing with each other and things of that
Exactly.
nature? And so yeah, we in a bad time. I seen a commercial
Exactly,
that was
man.
funny. Tell me if y'all seen this commercial. It was a devil. He was like Satan, and then he's chilling, and then he looks and he meets a girl, and he said, "What's your name?" And she says 2020.
I
And
see
then
that.
yeah, it's a deep. It's kind of deep. It's supposed to be funny, but I seen it deep. You know what I mean? So he looks at her, she looks at him, and they kind of like feeling each other. So like they start dating, and when they start dating, it shows all the stuff that happened in 2020. You know what I mean? It shows the social distancing, the plagues. It shows the debates with the president. You know what I mean? All these things, separations with the Republicans and all that. And then she's trying to go to church, and he's pulling her away from the church. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a commercial out. You'll see it. It's a commercial out. You know what I mean? To me, I know the intent of that commercial was to be comedic, but they don't know how powerful
Right.
spiritual commercial was.
Somebody knew, man. Somebody knew. Somebody knew. Somebody knew exactly what they were doing, man. And it's like, again, it's just one of those things, man, to like, we're getting so much stuff thrown at us to sow doubt and to create division. You know what I'm saying? I was telling my wife, I'm like, I don't care who goes to the White House. We as people, we as Americans need to realize, man, I don't care who go in the house. That's our house, man. And I think I've said it on past podcasts, man. We need to start educating ourselves as Americans, man, about what's ours in this country. We need to stop sitting back and letting them say, well, you guys are going to take this when it comes out, blah, blah. No, we not. What y'all going to do is y'all going to get together, all three of y'all, the companies, you're going to get together and figure it out and make this thing work. Put the dollar, the stock market thing and how far the stock is going to go when somebody comes up with a vaccine. Y'all need to put that to the side. You need to get us something that works. And we're not really trying to hear no for answer. We're not trying to have Congress tell us what we're going to do. This is our country, man. And we put you people in the positions that you're in. Y'all work for us.
Yeah.
But it's not a lot of it. There's not enough of us standing up, realizing that, man.
Yeah, you're right. We gotta inform. We gotta educate and inform each other. Jamma,
We do.
what you think, Jamma? The president's getting out of slack because he's so busy on the cheating and the miscounts of the votes and things of that nature. They're saying that he's not focusing enough on COVID and the whole pandemic that we're going through. What's your input on that? What's your thoughts on that?
My input on that is we have governors. We have governors and people who be like, yo, he's the leader. He should be totally focused on this. My man's trying to save his job. You know what I'm saying? He feel he got cheated. It's a lot of evidence out there. I hear him on that. We got our own governor. He could do whatever he want to do. And the president has given him a budget. What you need, Cuomo? You need respirators? Here you go. What you need, Cuomo? You need a couple billion to set this up. You need a big battleship cruiser on the coast of New York City so you can send 10,000 people on there and quarantine them. What do you need? President can only do that. He's providing, he's being a facilitator. What do you need, people? It's up to the governors to do what they want to do and implement their plan, but no one is talking about that. They get talking about the president and of that's in office now. And then when Biden comes in, the whole dialogue's gonna change, the whole narration's gonna change. My man trying to save his job. We got a governor, he has a job, he can do whatever he wants to do in New York State. Do your thing. You know what I'm saying? But like we said, ain't nothing gonna work. Everybody gonna get it. People gonna die. It's a vaccine. The whole world is going through it. The whole world's going through a second wave. Europe is getting hit hard. Australia. Everybody's going through a second wave. Shut the world down. Pay people to stay home. Whole bunch of businesses gonna die. Whole bunch of people gonna be unemployed. And then what's next? Government's here. We'll take care of you. You got to do this. You got to do that if you want us to take care of you. It seems real kind of shady and conspiracy.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying, though, D. We put ourselves in a position to depend on them too much, man. And
right.
When we do that, it's like we're handing them a blank check to treat us however they want to treat us. Man.
Yeah, just handle your biz. As Christians, also, we're natural born leaders. That's why you were Christian, my man. That's why you became a Christian. That's why we natural born leaders. We know what to do. We got the Bible. We got faith. We got trust. You got some crazy Christians out there saying, God's on my side. I ain't got to do nothing. I ain't got to wash my hands. I ain't got to wear a mask. I ain't got to social distance. You be like, yo, that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Pray for them. You know what I'm saying? Or talk to them. Like, well, yeah, for other people, though. For other people, you should wear a mask because you might get somebody else sick and kill them.
Yeah.
But we got to keep it together. And it's a division in the church. It's a division in the U.S. between just citizens. You got no maskers, you got maskers. You got no vaxxers, you got vaxxers. You got COVID is a joke, and you got no, COVID is the most serious thing on the planet. You know what I'm saying? It's just, we're so polarized in this country on every single platform, religiously, socially, economically. It's crazy.
That's why I think we're closer to that end. I think we're close to that end time because we've never been so divided. We've never been this divided. Now we've been, the country's been here and we've been known, to have, viruses, like Kurt has said. But the division is crazy. Right?
Crazy, man.
It's crazy, man.
It really is.
Yeah. So now, we know we're in this climate right now, and we know that, the COVID is going crazy and everything. We know the vaccines are on their way. You think when Biden comes into play and he starts to, take over, you think he's going to get all the glory for what Trump already has set up, or how y'all feel about that, Dave, and both of y'all?
No. I think the same thing's going to happen, but the majority of the media is liberal, right? The majority of the media campaigned for Biden and helped him get into office. Hollywood, all liberal media outlets, television, Google, Yahoo, they are search engines which we get our information from, and they control, withhold information, only give us the information they want us to have. And if you go on Google right now, if you go on Yahoo right now and you put Biden, you're only going to see positive stuff about Biden. You're only going to see positive things about Biden. You put Trump or anything conservative or right-wing or Republican, you only going to see negative stuff. So the information is already skewed and biased. So as soon as Biden comes in, no matter what happened, they're going to try and make him look like he's doing the right thing. He cares. He's being a good leader. Yeah, people are dying, but it was Trump's fault. And Biden is trying to clean up his mess. And, and Biden's doing a great job. That's exactly what's going to happen. It's so predictable. It's already happened. You know what I'm saying?
David McCut, do you think Trump did a good job on the first wave by shutting down because he gets slack. He was getting slack that he shut down too quickly the borders, but then when the pandemic rise, they said, he didn't close it fast enough, things of that nature. What do you think?
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I think I'll be honest with you. I think Trump did the best he knew how, man. I mean, I'm not a fan of Trump, man, but you can't knock the hustle.
Yeah.
Everybody knew what Trump was when they voted for him and he became president, man. So it's like there was this thing, nothing like this has ever happened, man, in our lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we could sit back and be like, oh, he didn't do this. He didn't close the borders fast enough. It's like, if he closed the borders fast, people were going to be pissed.
Yeah.
If he didn't close them fast enough, people were going to be pissed. But you know what? It could have been Obama. And if Obama didn't close the borders fast enough, they would have been pissed. So it's the same scenario. It's just that Trump happened to be in the chair when it happened.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to dump on this man and be like, when this thing first started off, he should have closed this. He should have done this. It was like, I think what happened with Trump, man, is that he relied on a lot of people to give him information about stuff that he didn't know about. Yeah. And he went with the data that was given to him. If they said, hey, Mr. President, this thing it's really not that big of a deal. We can have it isolated, blah, blah, blah. There's really no need to shut the economy down because we don't really know what it's doing. And he's like, all right, well, let's just go with that. And then a week later, it's like everything hit the fan and it's like, why didn't you shut it down? So he was damned if he did and damned if he didn't, man. So I think as far as giving him a grade on how he handled it from the beginning, I'm gonna say B, because I don't feel like I feel like anybody in that situation would have done exactly what he did. I mean,
Yeah.
my problem was the disconnect moving forward. That he just kind of seemed like he wasn't really saying what people wanted to hear. He wasn't playing the game of politician and saying, he wasn't doing I'm gonna give these speeches to make you feel good and I want everybody to feel. He just wasn't doing that. That's because that's just not who he is. But we knew that when we put him in office. You know what I'm saying?
You think he's too worried right now about his presidential position as opposed to the COVID situation?
Bro, let me tell you, he is. Do you ever see the Titanic? You ever see the movie Titanic? Remember when the ship was going down and the band was still playing?
Yeah.
I would not still be. I would not be playing, bro. I would be looking for a boat. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what Trump is doing, man. He don't care if he has to swim on somebody's back. He gonna survive. You know what I'm saying? And so if it's like, listen, you're about to lose your job and you feel strongly that something happened. Now, I don't agree with what he's saying, but I'm not gonna knock his hustle. If the man feel like he got to do whatever he got to do to save his job, and he really wants his job, who am I to say, you a sucker, man? You need to be focused on this. The dude trying to save his job, man, and it's not looking good. He doing everything that he can, but who am I to tell another man how he should be fighting to save his job? You know what I'm saying? At the end of it, if I'm gonna be real about it, I can't sit here and be like, he needs to be doing this and he needs to be doing that. That man trying to save his job.
Now,
you know what I'm saying?
Now, back to what this COVID thing. They're gonna open back up schools here locally in Rochester again. Because if the city of Rochester, the city schools are closed and they're going virtual. They're full-time virtual. Okay. Now, if you live in the suburb, you probably go. They call it hybrid. You go 2 days
twice a week.
Yeah, 2 days out of the week. The city schools are going to open up now. I think sometime in February, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that's smart.
Excuse me?
I think it's smart.
Okay, we already had a spike. What do you think that's going to do?
So for me, the way that I'm seeing the data, man, is that first of all, I think that the administrators, people who are in charge of the schools, I think they're comfortable with sending kids back to schools because the data isn't showing that kids are catching it and taking it home. You know what I'm saying? If anything, so what they're doing is they're like, we have a bunch of rules in place at school. Okay. And as a school district, our rules have to be followed or your kids have to stay home. So their logic is we're not seeing the data that shows that these kids are getting sick because we're doing the testing. Kids aren't coming back positive. So why make them stay home where they're going to be exposed to somebody at home? You know what I'm saying? And then it can spread that way. It can, but they're not seeing the data where the kids are contracting it and then bringing it to school. They have to wear masks in school. And if they don't, guess what? They're getting sent home. So they have a lot more, they have the ability to regulate at school, okay, and say, if you don't follow the rules, you can't come. You're going to have to stay at home. So they're not seeing the data where the kids at school are catching. So why not send the kids back to school?
What you think, Jamma?
I think send the kids back to school, bro. Because again, I'm on the conspiracy thing. They trying to dumb us down. This virtual thing is not good for the kids, man. A lot of kids are not doing well. My kids are doing good, thank God, because my wife be all over them. She be like all over them. She be all over me to make sure I'm all over them. It's ridiculous. I'm one of the kids, but I hear a lot of kids aren't doing too good, and I think that's one of the best things to do, man, is send kids back to school, get their education. The data's there, like Dave said. Kids got enormous, beautiful immune systems. People with underlying conditions and old people, man, they're the only ones that really dying. You got like 279,000 deaths. Like 60% of them are like people 80 and up. No one is talking about that. They're still people, but they were really old people. They could die off the common cold. They could die off of flu. You know what I'm saying? They just happen to die off COVID. So those people should stay safe and don't bring kids around old people and around people with underlying conditions. you gotta take precautions. But school education for the children is so important. And right now they're getting dumbed down. They're getting cheated out of a good education.
What about the teachers? The teachers that do have underlying conditions, the teachers that are older, you know, they're gonna have to, you know,
That's a
be
great point.
engaged with these kids. You know, it can
Masks.
be,
Like,
I think it's up to the
mask,
district.
wash hands, social distancing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it's up to the district to protect them. So if you have a teacher that's like high risk or whatever, I think what you do is you put them in a virtual environment. Those are the teachers that only teach in a virtual environment. You don't have them come on prem. You know what I'm saying? You have them stay home. You do virtual or whatever. I think it's ridiculous to have a teacher that is teaching virtually to come into the building. You know, that just doesn't make any sense, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it just doesn't make any sense. I work in a building that holds, you know, we have 300 people in our building, man. I was going into the building because they wanted somebody in leadership there at least, you know, every day, one person in leadership once a week. I was going in once a week, and a building that held 300 people, there was maybe 5 people in the building. We were like so far away from each other, we couldn't even see each other, you know. And there's smart ways to do this stuff, you know. There's just a smarter way to do it, man. You know, another point I want to make too, man, is that personally, I think that I think places of worship, man, I don't feel like, I know they just had the Supreme Court ruling and stuff, you know, as far as like capacity and stuff like that. I think churches need to use wisdom on that. I think that they need to say, if you're gonna have people come into services, you need to say, listen, we have 3 different ways you can come. If you want to be in the main sanctuary, you know, we're not advising people, you know, we're not forcing people to wear masks, but we encourage it. But we have an area over here where it's mask only. You know, they need to set up areas where there's comfort levels. And it's the same thing with the school district. If you have teachers who are leery of coming in and because they have underlying conditions, you set up an environment for them where they can teach and be comfortable. Again, if a person who has diabetes or whatever, you have them do only the online teaching or whatever. They don't have to be in the building. I mean, there's smart ways to do this, man. It's just that the leadership needs to make a call. They need to stand on it. They need to not worry about offending people or feelings and stuff like this. These are people's lives. You know, it's people's livelihoods. It's people's, you know, people get sick. They can't go to work. They lose their jobs. They lose their homes. I think that's what a lot of people are more concerned about is their jobs, money, income. You know.
Okay, so I'm real interested in the data, right?
Mm-hmm.
We talking about churches and churches who aren't following COVID protocols. Is the data out that these churches are harvesting grounds for infections?
Wow. Because
how many infections do we have in our church, Dawn? Do you know so far? Because you're in leadership. I know about 3 people in our church that
four people, yeah.
Or that caught COVID.
I know the 3 that caught it, 4 or 5 that's in quarantine just for precautionary sakes.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this.
But hold on. I want to make a point real quick, Dave. Sorry.
Go ahead.
So you have churches that most of the churches are going, hey, if you want to come to church and you want to wear a mask, we suggest you wear a mask. We can't make you wear a mask because that's what a lot of churches are doing. Like John MacArthur's church, Grace to You Church. He's got like 2,000 people in there, like 1,000 people. And he has no COVID cases. And they're all old people. They're all old, white, conservative people. And he has no COVID cases. They come to church, they gather, they congregate, they worship, they sing.
I read a Washington Post article that said differently. He said that they've had infections in that church.
The Grace to You joint?
Yeah. I'll pull it up. I'll send it to you. I tend to listen to the Washington Post. I don't listen to everybody else, man. But that being said, it wasn't like it was like droves of people.
Yeah, it's a very small number compared to because it's a very large church. They have a very high population in that church. Same with our church. We got about 150. And since March to now, I think we've had like 4 infections, you know. And our pastor's the same way. Hey, wear a mask. When you sit down, take your mask off, practice social distancing. We have masks to provide in the whole 9. So I was really happy about the Supreme Court ruling on New York State and California going against putting capacity limit on churches. I think that was a great victory for the church, extreme great victory for the church. I also see that through this COVID thing, I think the church is one of the main organizations being attacked during this pandemic, which also makes it kind of shady to me. But
I think they've
yeah,
been treated unfairly as far as the capacity thing.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if it's been a direct attack, but my thing is like, how can you leave gyms and bars open, but you're going to limit churches?
Exactly.
I think that's whack. That's
Exactly.
completely whack.
Yes.
I'm not feeling that at all.
Yeah.
I agree.
And it makes it seem like it's a hidden agenda. When they take that approach, it seems like, okay, like you guys are living out prophecy over here. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to not think that way if, like you said, you know, liquor stores are essential because they feel that people need liquor. You know what I'm saying? You know, these are the things.
I work at a printing company. We print junk mail, bro, and we're essential. When everybody was out getting free money for 3 months, I had to go to work to print junk mail.
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
Crazy.
Exactly.
So,
but we couldn't go to church at that time. Remember, we couldn't go to church at that time. We was going virtual. That's crazy.
So to Dave's point, you know, the numbers, you know, with the infections, you know, in the churches and stuff like that, there may not be a very high rate. But so I'm going to come at it from a leadership standpoint. If there are infections in a church, I feel that it is the senior leadership's responsibility to jump on the wire and say, listen, folks, we've had some positive cases in the church. Okay, I want you to be aware. This is how we do it here. You can roll with it or you can not roll with it, but we've had positive cases. I think as leaders
should be vocal. They should be vocal.
There needs to be some transparency, bro, because what it does is it gives people the chance to make their own decision.
Yes.
If you don't do it and you hide it and you're like, you seem a little shady, man. It's, to me, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. It seemed a little cultish to me when somebody's like, well, you know, we got some cases, but we, you know, let's keep it on the low and let's just keep treading on, like, you know, hey, you know, you see them? Because I've seen pastors get on, you know, on social media and be like, listen, we're struggling right now. We've had some cases in our church, and we're gonna trim stuff back a little bit because we got people quarantining, and we want you to understand what's going on. And for me, man, that's like, I appreciate that because it gives me the right to make a decision on whether I want to continue going or not. It doesn't seem like I'm being kept in the dark for the benefit of not losing people.
And you're right, Dave. No one wants to be in the dark. Not only that, no one wants to find out from another person. You want to hear it from the shepherd. You know what I mean? You want to hear it from the person that runs the church saying, listen, you heard it first from me here. Make your decision. You're not obligated to do this. You're not obligated to do that. Whatever you feel more comfortable in. You know, that I agree. I think
that's all I ask for, bro. I'm not asking, you know, I'm not asking for a cure. I'm not asking for, you know, just give the information so people can make the choice that's best for them. If people choose to live in fear, that's their choice, man. And will they have to answer for it someday? Maybe. But give them the opportunity to make their own decision. Don't make it for them. Don't keep vital information from them that may help them to keep themselves safe or their family safe. You know what I'm saying? But I'm with Jammer though, man, that we need to have our eyes open to the stuff that is that's blatant, because the blatant stuff, man, is like, that's the stuff we can't stand for, and we need to speak up about it. If we see something that's straight up blatant and we feel like the government is overstepping, or they're trying to push us, they're trying to like wrangle us like cattle, man, and steer us into different stockades and stuff like that, or, you know, or stables. We need to fight against that, man. We really do. We need to be smarter than that, because again, this country is built on us. We are what makes this country go, man. And it's not the, you know, the 100 senators that are sitting in chambers or whatever, and it's not the 9 chief justices that make the tough decisions. It's us. It's Americans. Because this country, what would this country be without us?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be anything without us, man.
Right.
So, I know we went long, brothers, but I felt like, this was very vital. And we shared some good information. I wish we could have kept Kurt Classic a little longer, but I know he had a prior engagement. So I appreciate him jumping in and having this discussion with us. We didn't get to do our trending on the streets. I didn't want to break up. We had good conversation going, man. So, we'll get to trending next time, but
beautiful. Yeah, I'm about to check on Kurt now. He downstairs doing my basement. Make sure he's doing his work. I'll be back, y'all. Y'all be a good one. All right?
Listen, he's doing your basement for real.
Nah.
He's doing. Listen, I want to leave you. Listen, I miss you guys. I think I'm out. Listen, I'm still on quarantine the whole next week. The Department of Health said, regardless, even if I test negative, I still got to stay on quarantine for 14 days.
I'll keep checking in on you, bro.
Yeah. So I want to leave on the Bible verse. Proverbs. It says that Proverbs 19:20 says, "Listen to the advice and accept instruction, that you may gain wisdom in the future." And that's I think that's kind of like what Dave is saying to the leaders, basically. I think that's what Big Dave is saying. You have to know when to come to the people and just be open, and if people are voicing concerns, and we're speaking to the church leaders, people are voicing concerns, then listen to the concerns and take in consideration, and that shows wisdom within itself.
It does, man.
You know what I'm saying?
And I'm a rock with you from the standpoint that you gave me the opportunity to give me the you gave me the information, you gave me the opportunity to make my own decision, whether the information was good or not, whether it fit your narrative or it fit your plan. You put it out there and you gave it to me to let me make my own decision. And that's what I respect the most, man. Somebody that's going to be like, listen, this may not work in my favor, but I need you to know this because I love you and I want to see you, I want to see you positively impacted by the information that I'm giving you. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, listen, I think that's what a true leader should do. Before we go, wish you guys, we know today is the Spence and Danny Garcia fight today, on pay-per-view. Jammo, who you got?
Man, I'm going for Danny. You know that. That's my dog.
Okay, cool.
It's Danny Garcia. Man, I've been a Danny Garcia. I put these dudes on to Danny Garcia. They'll never admit it. They'll never admit it. I put them on to Danny Garcia. I put them on to Terrence Crawford. I'm the one to be looking at these prospects when they know bodies and be like, yo, look out for this dude.
I put you on to Danny Garcia.
Are you? Oh my God. Anyways.
I'll give it to you. You put me on Spence. Not Danny Garcia.
I put you on the Spence, Garcia, and Crawford, bro. Anyways, that's another podcast. That's another podcast. I got evidence. Photographs, conversations, everything.
Go ahead.
Anyways.
Yes. Pull them up, please. Please do.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'm going for Danny. I always go for Danny. Puerto Rican from Philly, my dude coming up. Spence is a monster. I always thought Spence could beat Danny Garcia. I was like, yeah, if Danny Garcia go up against Spence, I don't think he can handle Spence. But after this car accident, and Spence ain't fighting about 1.5 years, 2 years, he ain't got no warm-up fight, and he going up against Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia, top 5 welterweight in the world, bro. He ain't got no warm-up fight. Spence, you coming off a crazy car accident, going up against one of the monsters at 147, and Danny hit hard. Danny's one of the hardest hitting welterweights in the world. I'm going for Danny. If Spence is the same Spence, I think Spence is gonna win. But if Spence ain't the same Spence, I think Danny's gonna win. So we gotta see if Spence is the same Spence.
Who you got, Big Dave?
Garcia, man, because I'm not really feeling Spence, man. He I don't know, man. He be disrespecting Bud Crawford, man, and I don't like that. And and my stepbrother is Bud Crawford's personal assistant. So what I'm saying? So I can't take no family disrespect like that.
So listen, hey, I'm going like this. Since y'all both going for Danny, I'm gonna go for Spence because I want to be the oddball. I want to be the oddball. Y'all forcing me to be the oddball. Okay. I was gonna say Danny, but that's whack. All three of us going for Danny. So we're gonna go for Spence. And you want to go for Spence? If Spence is the same Spence he used to be,
Oh yeah, he gonna beat him.
I think he could beat Bud Crawford. So
No.
that's why
No.
I'm a sign
He can
seal
never
to
beat
look at
Bud.
that. If he's the same Spence,
Let me hit this in this meeting.
listen, remember what I said? If he's the same Spence that
He
he
dodged them for
prior
a
to the
reason.
car accident.
He dodged them for a reason.
No, he didn't dodge. Your man dodged. It wasn't
No,
Spence.
he dodged Crawford for years.
He has not.
Yo,
No, he
get
has
a belt.
Crawford
First said, yo, get a belt.
First of
Get
all,
a belt. Crawford got a belt.
Crawford
He's like,
could've
I ain't
signed-
gotta fight him. I ain't gotta
could've
fight him.
signed
He
with-
need me. I don't need him. That's what Spence was saying.
Bro,
Not
Crawford
friends.
could have signed without Top Rank. He chose to sign with Top Rank, knowing that's the other side of the fence. Knowing that he was working hard.
Come on, that's buns, Don.
Yeah. Hey,
That's
listen,
buns, man.
that's not buns. If he wanted
That's
to over
buns.
fight,
Just
listen,
because
if
he signed
wanted
with
to
a
over fight,
manager, that's how he dodged Spence.
he did.
He signed
Yeah,
with Bob
that's-
Arum. He's like, yo,
we know
I'm with
that.
Bob Arum. That's one of the greatest promoters of all time.
Listen,
He could give me a
listen.
fight with anybody.
Yeah,
And Bob Arum couldn't do it because Al Heyman
Al
don't like Bob
Heyman
Arum.
would have paid him too. Al Heyman would have paid him. He would have made money with Al. You
but
think he wouldn't have made money? But
he
guess
went
what?
with Bob Arum. So did
Bob-
Teofimo
Bob
Lopez.
Arum knew that.
So did this dude, the young
and
buck.
he got with Bob Arum. Who he got for?
He fought Kell Brook. He fought
Kell Brook after he got
Amir
two
Khan?
broke cheekbones. After Kell Brook had two broke cheekbones, yeah, orbital bones on both
Come on,
sides.
bro.
Okay, yeah.
He beat up Kell Brook. Spence ain't beat Kell Brook up like that.
Who else?
Triple D ain't beat up Kell Brook like that.
Who
Come
else?
on,
Yes, he
brother.
did. Yes, he did. Yes, he
Crawford is
did.
the truth.
Yes, he did.
You
Yes, he
sleep.
did. Listen.
You
He
sleeping. He's
fought-
sleeping,
listen,
Dave Jones.
listen,
He's
listen,
sleeping on our
listen,
boy
listen.
Bud. He's
He
sleeping
fought
real
Bud.
hard.
Listen,
Yeah,
Bud
man.
was on the wrong side of the fence, man. Bud went on that
Wrong
side of the fence.
Well, yo,
Knowing-
in
knowing that
September,
there was gonna
his
be
con. In
Knowing
September,
that
his
there
con.
was issues.
In September,
He
his
has not
contract.
fought no one
Yo,
since then, Bob Arum.
In September, his contract is up with Bob Arum.
I hope he doesn't listen. I like Bob Arum, but for some reason, him and Al Heyman, they don't do business, man.
He ain't
They
re-signing with Bob Arum. And then what's the excuse gonna be?
That's why I want to know. Okay, then we're gonna talk real money. Now we're gonna talk real money. So let
We
him
can
not
talk-
sign with
we
Bob
can
Arum.
talk-
We'll have something good to talk about on the next podcast then. We're gonna see what's up, man. What are
Yo,
we
sign this
we're
out.
like an hour away from it kicking off, right?
Yeah, hey,
Oh, wow.
Dave, sign us out, man. What Lou saying? I don't know. I forgot what Lou be saying. What he say to the Tat Nation crew?
Yo, man, shout out to my man. My man late to the game, man. We miss you, man.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
Task crew keep riding. Task crew gonna keep driving. We out.
Peace.
See you. Peace.